Hi, Floyd here at Plan Your Fellow Retirement. As I said in the last podcast that we did, we're going to talk about several areas of getting you ready to retire. Numerous conversations are already taking place about the monetary side, transferring the TSP, cash flow, and so on. In my video last week, I talked about making sure we got good health care where we're going. Well, today I'm going to talk about lifestyle and well-being. Now, one of the things that's important, and I always stress this to my pre-retirees, is I really don't want you to take a step back in lifestyle. So the way you're living today is extremely important when you move into retirement. So many times people think that, oh, gee, I'm going to take a 30% cut in my income, so my lifestyle has to change 30%. That's poor planning. I'm sorry. We always want here at Shalansky & Associates, we always want our clients to move into retirement spending the exact same thing they're spending today. But we start that about 5 years ahead of time. So very important to do that. Why? You're going to have a move most likely. You're going to relocate to another state. You have to build new relationships. You have to find things to go do. All those become extremely stressful. And if we're trying to trim and cut budget at the same time, man, the stress level just goes through the roof. So very important that we plot and plan. And normally we try to do this 3, 4, 5 years before you get ready to retire. So staying active is extremely important, whether it's playing golf or playing basketball or bicycle riding or hiking, all these things. Again, we like to see it plotted out. So if when you go on holiday, if you go to the beaches all the time, all right, then where is this beach going to be? All right. If you go to the mountains to go skiing, if you want to go to sunny places and play golf, all these things are very important. And if you're going to play golf, have you budgeted it in what those green fees are going to be? If you're going to be in the mountains so you can spend time on snowboarding or skiing, have we budgeted out those lift tickets? All right. And if you're going to go live in the mountains, but, holiday in the islands, have we budgeted out that cost to go do things? So all those things become very important. And the more time we think about it versus being a sporadic, let's go, the easier it's going to be. Exercise is just crucial. Study after study after study shows that retirees become sentimental in their actions, and that decreases their lifespan. Those retirees that stay active and doing the things, whether it's golf or walking, swimming, biking, and those things, they keep their mental cognitive activity up high, which is extremely important. And it keeps them exercising, which makes the body well. And the body being exercising and creating the endorphins to keep us happy and moving forward. Again, something very, very, very important. Volunteering, so many times my clients leave their jobs and they're so active in them, they don't have time to do community activity. When you're retired, look at that organization that you might be able to help make a little bit better. Join a service organization, whether it's the Moose, whether it's the Elks, and find out what you can do in your local communities. You and I, when we retire, we have the ability to be, I refer to as a force multiplier. If you've been an executive in the agency you're working at, or you've been a lead in the agency, you know how to look at people and get things done. And there's tons of organizations out there that need that type of assistance. One little caveat, though. Finding people to do service today is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So when you step up and offer to do this assistance, you're going to have tons of opportunities. Remember, there's a very important word when you retire, and it's 2 letters, and it starts with an N and ends in an O. No, I can't do that. Or not today. Maybe next year I can do those. Important. Don't become overloaded. And when you start volunteering, you can get overloaded very, very quickly. Social connections. Whether it was work or the group that you held around or stayed around when you were working, if you relocate to another city or state, those connections become frayed a little bit. We always promise we're going to see people, always promise to be connected. There's a song, long distance relationships, lots of letters and one long distance call, and we drifted apart. Today with Zoom and FaceTime on the radios, that diminishes some, but there's something about the human touch. So those connections, making sure you maintain the old ones while you're creating new ones. A lot of studies about acquaintances and friends. Some people say in the friendship world, we all have 250 connections. And then out of that 250 connections, that kind of comes together. And the knit group of people is typically 6 to 10 people. Now, one of the things in these connections, please make sure you keep room for those 30 and 40-year-olds. There is a belief, and I subscribe to that belief, if I hang around younger people, it keeps me thinking younger. When I get around my older friends or my same age friends, we have a lot of conversation about doctor's appointments and this ailment and that ailment, what we're doing for it. We need to move that away and but stay around some younger people because it helps. It just helps keeps us young. All right. And then maintaining social connections, preventing loneliness. One of the things that it gets tough as we get older, and especially if we lose a loved one or a spouse, we have a tendency to hermit some, to draw in. So staying active, staying with those committees, staying with those service organizations. I just recently had a Rotary program, and the gentleman talking says Rotary is the #1 way to increase longevity because we won't let you be lonely. So the lions, so do the moose, so do the elks, and so on. They say that. But keeping important relationships is just, I can't overemphasize that. All right. And then the mental issues. So many times today is, I lost my mom to Alzheimer's. I've lost numerous clients, regrettably, to dementia and Alzheimer's. And what we're finding out today is that sugar and Alzheimer's, predisposed diabetics are all part of that Alzheimer's thing. So eliminating sugar, making sure that we're keeping a healthy diet, all right? Making sure we're doing these things. Had a client in just recently that they're so tired when they get off work and they've got 3 kids, they go out to dinner a lot. Very expensive habit because I'm too tired to cook. Well, she's never thought about hiring someone to do meal prep for them. And I'm not talking about TV dinners like I grew up with, but I'm talking about a chef or a cook coming into your house and preparing, good meals that have nutrients and health issues and storing them. So all you've got to do is pop them in the microwave, turn the oven on and reheat them. All kind of options there for us. So as we move through these segments, and it's not about cash flow as well, it's about feeling well, feeling good, keeping fit, and keeping the mind tuned in. In today's world, the reality is that longevity is both a blessing and a curse. When my grandmother passed away at age 65, we said she led a long, healthy, good life. But today, when you hear someone dying at 65, we're kind of taken back. Average life expectancy for most of the males listening to this is 80 plus. That's average. So the other side of average is shorter and longer. More people are living past 85, 90, 95, even 100 years old. And ladies, you're going to outlive the gentleman by 5 to 7 years, statistically, as we do that. So preparing for retirement is not only about cash flow, which is extremely important, it's also about location. And we're going to talk about in the next podcast is how do you look for locations? How do you look for affordable places to live? How do you look for these things and we get ready to make the transition? This is Floyd. Talk to you next time. Happy planning.